Hey guys, what's up? Today I'll talk about my Chinese ex-girlfriend and her big secret, and I will film as I walk here through the streets of Sanlitun in Beijing as I do it. So this girl, actually she was my first Chinese girlfriend, and she was also one of the reasons why, or let's say she was the big reason why I first came to China about 15 years ago. I met her at my university in Sweden. I was working for the student union as a volunteer, and it was my job to show around the foreign students that just arrived around campus. And in one of the groups I noticed this very beautiful Asian girl, and I asked her where she was from, and she said China. She was very cold, very unfriendly, so there was no progress the first time we met, but yeah, I kept thinking about her. And then by coincidence, we were in the same group, like the same project group in marketing. And yeah, I got to know her a bit better. Initially she was still very cold. She was quite harsh as a person, very dominant. So we were in a group of like 5-6 students, like, you know, from different countries, Swedish, you know, European American, and she basically took charge of the group. She was just the leader in a very natural way. And that was quite different to what I was used to from other Asian girls, like for example Taiwanese or Japanese girls that I had met before. And yeah, I thought she was quite intriguing. And we began talking a little bit about China. I said I had interest to go to China one day, maybe to live there and to work there, especially to Shanghai. And she said, oh yeah, I have this really good Shanghainese friend who was studying with me together in Netherlands. And we came here together to Sweden for this exchange semester, but currently she's in Gothenburg, not in the city that we were in at the time. And she said that her friend from Shanghai would come to our city to visit her in about a month. And that when she came, I could meet her and talk to her and ask her questions about Shanghai. And I said, cool, yeah, that sounds great. So anyway, time passed, and one day I got the courage to ask her out for a coffee date. She accepted, and I was like super happy. But then the day before, she canceled because she said she had to go urgently to meet her friend in Shanghai. I was heartbroken, but I didn't really give up. I kept going. And then her friend from Shanghai came to our city, and they had like a big dinner together, and they invited me as well. And I met her friend, but her friend looked very different to the girl I was into, because her friend had, she was very fat, first of all. She had short hair, she had very thick black glasses, and she dressed more like a boy than a girl. And apparently this was her best friend. They had lived together in the same room in the Netherlands for a couple of years. And I didn't think very much of it. I thought, okay, cool, that's cool, that's no problem. Anyway, it seemed clear that her friend didn't like me very much. She was very cold to me. And yeah, we didn't get very far with the conversation about Shanghai. She left, and then a few weeks after that, I asked the girl I was into out for dinner at my place, and she took some time, and eventually she confirmed. She came over, and actually after we met, she said that she had even asked her parents for permission to go to my apartment, because apparently in China this was a very big deal. So I realized that she was quite conservative, quite a big difference to what I was used to in Sweden. But anyway, one thing led to another, and we ended up becoming together. She would come to my apartment quite frequently. Eventually she basically moved in. And one very strange thing was that pretty much like right after we started dating, she said she had a big fight with her friend in Gothenburg, and that they basically stopped all contact. And I thought that was really weird, because they had been living together for a long time, they were so close. Like, why now, all of a sudden, did they stop all contact? And I asked, okay, so what did you fight about? And she said, oh no, it's nothing, no big deal, just some small things, and I'm sure it'll be fine later. So I stopped thinking about it. Summer came around, and we decided to go together to her hometown in South China to visit her parents. And we came there. We were there for like a long time, I think 5-6 weeks. And during this time, I just kept thinking about this situation with her best friend. And I was becoming a little bit suspicious. And I said, well, is it possible that, you know, you are like bisexual and like you guys had something going on? And she said, no, of course not. That's ridiculous, you know. What are you talking about? How could you say that? And she was very upset. But somehow something was just not quite right. So I searched online. And I found this like a social, let's say like a Facebook for gays and lesbians in Sweden. And I searched for Gothenburg, and I searched for this girl's nickname, her age group, and I found her. I got a match. So I saw her profile. I created my own profile as well, just to log in and to check out her profile. And she had like a blog on her page. And going back to the date where me and my girlfriend got together around that time, there was one post saying that one day you said you loved me, the next day you turn around, you kiss a boy, you stab me in the back, and you broke my heart. You were like you're a murderer, something like that. So obviously this was quite, let's say, incriminating. So I went to my girlfriend, I showed her this blog post, and I said, this is quite obvious, it's about you. Like, you're the so-called murderer. And my girlfriend, she was in disbelief. Initially she tried to deny it, but pretty soon she kind of broke down, she became very quiet, she began crying. And after quite a while she said, yes, okay, it's true. Me and this girl actually were together. We lived together. And I said, yeah, but what did you do? I mean, were you like a couple? And she said, yes, they were a couple. And I said, okay, so does this mean that you're bisexual, or are you lesbian, or what's going on? She said she's not lesbian or bisexual. She said it just kind of happened when they were living together in university. She said that when she came to the Netherlands, she was only like 19 years old. She was very innocent, had never dated anybody, and she felt very lonely in the Netherlands. And this girl had been very friendly to her, and she had helped her out, you know, with getting around the city. You know, they had been cooking together. They became very good friends, and they had then moved in together to the same place. Initially, they had 2 beds. But then apparently, somehow, it just happened that they were lying close to each other one night, and then this girl, who was, let's call it like a butch lesbian, she basically initiated something, and then my girlfriend basically didn't stop it, and then that's how it started. And then after that, they were always together as a couple, but they hadn't told anybody, so it was still a secret. Nobody knew about this, especially her parents or anybody else, because obviously in Chinese culture that was considered very shameful. So, of course, I was shocked. Above all, that she had lied to me about it for so long time. At that point, we had been together already for about 3-4 months. And she never told me about this before, even though I asked her, so I was really pissed off. But it was also a way for me to learn more, of course, about homosexuals and lesbians and bisexuals in China, because apparently it is quite common. So what I learned from her, my girlfriend telling me about her ex-girlfriend, about her life in China before, was that as a butch lesbian coming from her hometown, actually she had been with a lot of girls before in China. This was nothing unusual at all. And there was actually quite a big gay scene in China, but it was all like undercover. And somehow it was accepted in China because it's quite natural in China for women and men to be in very close friendships with each other. So often you will see like men or women walking in the streets hand in hand. They might live together, they might even sleep in the same bed together, and nobody would really suspect anything, because somehow it's like so absurd that people would be gay. So in a way they have a lot of freedom to be gay, but at the same time they can't be it officially. They can't get married, they can't really be openly gay. They still have to marry somebody from the opposite sex, they still have pressure to have kids, etc. But as long as they don't tell anybody, actually they have a lot of freedom. So that's basically what she explained. So from my side, I was not angry that she was bisexual. I thought, I mean, that's no big deal. But I was really pissed off that she had lied to me. And I actually wanted to leave her hometown, go back to Sweden at that point, to travel around China. I wanted to break up, to be honest. But the thing is, my credit card, which was my only source of cash, had expired. So I was stuck to live in her hometown with her parents for another 2-3 weeks. And during that time we kind of made amends. And even though I was still angry, we still kind of like got back together. We moved back to Sweden together, and we spent another year there, and then came back to Shanghai the year after that. And then yeah, we both moved back here permanently. So yeah, that's the story about my ex and her big secret. And this thing also taught me a little bit about relationships in China and Sweden, and the way that we look at truth. What I realized from her was that she didn't tell me, not because she wanted to lie to me, but because she thought that this fact was basically irrelevant for us and our relationship. Because as she saw it, she and this girl had broken up already. It didn't affect me. This was something about her past that she didn't want anybody to know about. And she just wanted to move on and have a normal life. And in Swedish culture, we tend to be very honest with each other, to tell the truth even though it might hurt. Because we believe unless you're fully honest to others and to yourself, you can't really build trust, you can't really have like a genuine love and relationship. So that was one difference I realized. But anyway, eventually me and that girl, we were together for I think about a year or so after I came to China. And after that I moved to a different city. I moved to Qingdao, and she was still in Shanghai, and we broke up. After we broke up, I kept being single for a long time, dating around, and from what I heard, she actually got married to a local guy, and they have a kid now together, still living in Shanghai. So it seems that she left her bisexual years behind, at least for the time being. So yeah, that's the story about my ex-girlfriend. Hope you enjoyed, guys, and see you next time.